Assalamu alaikum and a very good morning to you all. I hope you guys are doing very well today and you're ready to start your day with me, Maha Makhtoom, only on PTV World this morning. And unfortunately, as you guys heard yesterday, Shahzad was struggling and he has managed to catch the flu that's going around. So everyone that's out there, do be careful. It is very cold outside, so do wrap up very warm. We have a wonderful show lined up for you today. We're going to be discussing a lot of things that we should all be aware about. We'll be talking about positive thinking. We're going to be talking about how to change our behaviors in order to achieve the most in life. But before that, we need to be healthy. So we will be having a segment on health, on something that is very prevalent within Pakistan. It's something that happens. It is a growing issue and it's a growing concern, which is something that we all need to be aware about. But before I let you know what we will be discussing, we need to look at the top stories of the hour. So let's take a look. Prime Minister Shahid Khaqan Abbasi has reiterated resolve to further strengthen Pakistan-China strategic cooperation. Minister for Planning and Development Ehsan Iqbal, while talking to the media, said that the CPEC projects have been reviewed in 7th meeting of Joint Cooperation Committee. And rare diamonds, including a 110-carat circular diamond and a 12-carat vivid blue diamond, are among the top draws at next month's Magnificent Jewels and Fine Jewels auction at Sotheby's in New York. I want to go there. One day. Okay, and on the 11th day of the National T20 Cup, Lahore Whites defeated Peshawar region by 27 runs and Faisalabad region beat Rawalpindi by 5 wickets in a high-scoring match of National T20 Cup 2017 at Rawalpindi Cricket Stadium. Peshawar and Islamabad now being defeated. And Pakistan fast bowler Hassan Ali picked 5 wickets against Dhaka Dynamites in Bangladesh Premier League match. Congratulations to Hassan Ali. It's great to see everyone doing so well at the sports, and it's great to see that cricket is live and kicking and all this league cricket is going on, which is wonderful and exactly what Pakistan needs. But now we have to do our public service message, so let's go take a look at the public service message today. And my message is going to be road related, which is going to be linked in with the second half of our show. As you know, and I've been very honest about my struggles on the road, especially in the mornings, because as you mentioned that I'm not very happy when I wake up, unless it's about the work, do not talk to me. But the thing is, we have to get to from A to B, and it's about our attitudes. And the best thing is trying not to lose your temper, especially when you're on the road. And it's something that requires a lot of patience. It requires a lot of practice as well, especially if you're in a rush. But what I noticed was that today people weren't moving out of my way. And at the end of the day, that negativity and that anger only damages yourself. And it actually happened that I was getting so angry that the other person in the car was laughing at me. And then I started laughing at myself. So in a way, the negativity is making you angry and it's getting you agitated. And then on top of that, you look kind of silly when you do it. So I would just say that anyone who is going to work, you have anywhere to be, give yourself that 5 extra minutes so that just in case there's some people on the road who are a bit selfish, who don't have any etiquette on how to drive on the road, so that you don't ruin your own mood. So give yourself enough time so that you're not rushing and you're not kind of creating, being part of the noise pollution and spoiling your own mood. So that is the public service message for today. And now, moving on, we have got a wonderful show lined up for you. We have the first segment is about, it's something that was prevalent within Pakistan. It's something that we are not very sure about. As we've always said, health is wealth. We even have a show on that on the weekends on PTV World. But there is an issue within Pakistan, and there are many factors that play into why we are having this health issue within Pakistan. Within Pakistan, there is a growing number of people who are suffering from chronic kidney disease, who are actually pushing themselves to the point where they are leading their kidneys to fail. So over here within Pakistan, there are multiple, so it's your dietary, it's your genetics, it's the fact that some culture, you know, within some societies here, there's a lot of interfamily marriages as well, which cause these issues. So we're going to be exploring what is the difference between chronic kidney disease and versus failure, and also how can we prevent it? Because in a developing nation, you know, access to health and medical is much more difficult, and quality as well. So we've been joined by Dr. Rashid Asaq. He is the MD of Senior Kidney Care in Harbin Clinic, Atlanta, Georgia. Assalamu alaikum. Good morning. Thank you so much for joining us.
Good morning.
It's a very important subject that we're talking about right now. So could you tell us, first of all, let's start with the basics. What's the difference between chronic kidney failure and, disease versus failure?
Yes, chronic kidney disease is basically a spectrum of disease which can lead to chronic kidney failure. So chronic kidney disease is a disease like diabetes or hypertension.
Okay.
So it has 5 stages, and the final stage is stage 5, which is the renal failure.
Okay, so before we get to that, so let's talk about, so hypertension and diabetes are part of what's called chronic kidney disease. What, is there anything else that's included in that?
Yes, so the most common cause of kidney disease is diabetes and hypertension.
Yes.
And after that, there are some genetic disease like polycystic kidney disease, chronic glomerulonephritis, and kidney stones, and a lot of over-the-counter medications which we use on a daily basis for arthritis, like NSAIDs, like ibuprofen, Aleve, and naproxen. So all these medicine can cause chronic kidney disease, and that lead to chronic renal failure.
Okay, and now, so tell us, okay, so we've talked about what is the difference. Now, what is the situation with the figures within Pakistan?
Yes, so like I'm from US, and in US we have quality reporting where we can diagnose and report how much the population incidence of kidney disease. So in US, it's almost 25 million people affected by chronic kidney disease,
right?
Because it is well reported and well established. In Pakistan, unfortunately, we don't have any national database which will tell us how many patients are suffering from chronic kidney disease. There's a study done in Karachi where they just randomly screen the population, and they say it's more than 100 patients per million who are on dialysis, which is a treatment for renal failure.
That's the failure, that's the way we're at the end. Okay, right. So those are huge figures. So now you mentioned very briefly about the reasons why, but let's get into that a bit more, because there are some preventative measures that can be taken. So what are the risk factors? You said that
diabetes and hypertension,
and then also some family genetics as well. Now the thing is, diabetes and hypertension, that comes from lifestyle as well as genetics, correct?
Correct.
So that is something that people can take control of. So now, what kind of lifestyle changes or what kind of things should people do?
Yes,
who are more at risk, actually? Tell us first.
Yes, so basically, so there's 2 situations where first we have to diagnose chronic kidney disease, because if we don't diagnose, we can't prevent and treat.
Okay.
So first is to identify the patients who have chronic kidney disease.
Okay.
And then to identify is a simple blood test.
Okay, so what are the symptoms for someone who should go and get themselves checked?
Yeah, actually, unfortunately, in early kidney disease, in early stages, there are no symptoms.
Oh no, okay.
So the only way to check is through the blood test, where it's a simple test called BUN, urea and nitrogen, and creatine.
Okay.
And that drives into GFR, which is the glomerular filtration rate, which tells us how much kidney is working.
Okay, you're using words I think majority of us and our viewers will not understand, but they're very medical and technical terms. Okay, now just for your layman out there, so there is no, you can't really tell because there are no symptoms initially. But the thing is, do they come up if you go for regular body checkup? You know, if you go up for a general health checkup?
Yes, there can be some vague symptoms like nausea, vomiting, and people have complaint of tiredness and fatigue.
Right.
And then in the later stages, people have a shortness of breath and loss of appetite.
Oh, okay.
So there are sequelae of symptoms which happen in the early stages versus the late stages.
Okay.
And the risk factors are so diabetes and hypertension are
Yep,
the
we
most common
mentioned.
risk factors. So these are how a patient can be identified as a risk factors. So people who will tend to get into chronic kidney disease.
Okay, so that's standard, because if you already suffer from these things, you should get yourself checked. But now, another thing, I feel I'm going through my psychology degree all over again. I feel like I've got these issues as well. I'm going to have to go and get my blood checked afterwards. Anyway, so now let's talk about the risk factors which people can control, because there's certain things they're unable to control. So does your diet, does anything like that have an
Yes,
impact?
so most common thing which people can work on is their
But what are they
diet.
doing that's causing them?
Yes.
What actions are causing them to lead them down this path?
Yeah, so in our country, in Pakistan, the most common risk factor, I would say, in the lifestyle is a high protein diet.
Okay.
So people eating a lot of protein, a lot of meat, they tend to have a lot of burden on the kidney.
Okay.
So people who are diabetics and they are doing the eating a lot of protein and high carbs diet, that can be risk factor for the.
Oh goodness, I'm doing all the wrong things. Oh, oh no. Okay, right. Now let's move on. Let's get serious. Okay, so now this high carbs, high protein diet, so you should have a balanced diet, which is something that we've been promoting and telling you guys and showing you different vegetables and fruits, etc., especially which are they're regional as well and seasonal within Pakistan, which are fantastic. But now let's talk about the social issues. Like, as in, is there like for I was reading that if you continue repeating the similar genes, that can also lead to having chronic kidney disease. Is that correct or not?
Yeah, that's correct. Actually, genetic factors are very common and they can lead to chronic kidney disease. So, number one, diabetes is a genetic disease as well. So, but not all diabetics get into chronic kidney disease.
Right.
There are certain genes which lead to a chronic kidney disease.
Okay.
So that is very important. And then there are certain autoimmune diseases which is like comes from your body immunity, a lack of immunity. So one of them is polycystic kidney disease.
Yes, you mentioned.
That is, effective with in a certain genetics, And then there are certain disease where people lose blood in the urine, where there has a defect in the kidney. It's called IgA nephropathy, which can also be genetic. So there are a lot of genetic diseases in the kidneys which can lead to, kidney disease. And actually, in pediatrics population, there are a lot of genetic malformations in the kidney, where a kidney fail to develop when the child is born.
Okay.
Because in the developmental phase, when before the birth, the kidney develops, but at birth, both kidneys develop and then they evolve into a functional kidney.
Right.
But unfortunately, a lot of kids are born with only one kidney.
Why?
That is a genetic cause as well. And there's no way parents can know, since in Pakistan, in the prenatal care, we don't do specialized ultrasonograms to look into the body organs.
Okay.
So we fail to diagnose those. And later on, when those kids grow up, they develop diabetes and hypertension.
Right.
They are very high risk of getting chronic kidney disease.
Okay, and that's why you mentioned all these people are on this dialysis, 100 people out of a million, which is a huge figure. Okay, now let's talk about the treatments that are available out there. Okay, we know in developed nations, you have to go for regular checkups. There's systems in place where you can go and set. Over here, some hospitals do, some government hospitals are providing it, but it's not everywhere. But what are the treatments available out there for?
Yeah, so treatment, as we mentioned before, start from lifestyle modifications and the diet. And after that, controlling the risk factors, which are diabetes and hypertension. And then there are certain medications which we use in the early stages to treat the chronic kidney disease, to treat the complications of them. So when we start seeing patient in the chronic kidney disease clinics, we check all those metabolic parameters and then we treat accordingly. And the main goal is to delay the last stage, which is the chronic renal failure, or we call it end stage renal disease in other term. That's when people need dialysis.
Right. Okay, now the thing is, at what point is it too late to reverse? Like after which stage? 1, 2, 3, or 4?
Yeah,
obviously 5, you can't go back.
Yeah, the best stage when a primary care doctor or general practitioner in Pakistan we urge to have them refer the patient when they are in stage 3.
Okay.
And when the kidney function go below 60% out of 100%.
Right, okay.
That's the right time to refer to a nephrologist
Okay.
who's a kidney specialist.
But over here within Pakistan, because you know you are here to speak about the situation, what is the situation with the nephrologist and the kidney disease treatments?
Yes, actually when I finished my medical school in, I started in 1996 and finished in 2001 from Punjab Medical College, Faisalabad. We only have one nephrologist in our whole hospital.
Okay.
And we have only few dialysis machines. But now I have seen that all of the major cities have kidney care centers and dialysis centers. And now Pakistan Medical and Dental Council have initiated a nephrology training program.
Wonderful.
Where they are training a nephrologist, which is a big improvement. And eventually it has to evolve into specialized dialysis centers, and ultimate treatment of kidney disease is kidney transplant.
Okay.
Which is ultimate treatment where people don't have to do dialysis.
Okay, so over here, what is the situation with the transplants?
Yeah, in Pakistan, the leading institution in transplantation is SIUT, which is Sindh Institute of Urology and Transplant.
Okay.
And that is the leading institution for transplant. But unfortunately, we don't have many transplant. Lately, we used to have living donor transplant where some of your relatives or friends give you the kidney. But now in the previous government, they have approved deceased donor transplants, which is like cadaveric, where people who died in the accident or early age, they harvest the kidney and transplant to a patient.
Okay, so that's happening in Pakistan?
That's happening in Pakistan now.
Okay, wonderful. Yeah. And what are the success rates regarding when you have these transplants? If you have to have a transplant, what is the success rate?
Yeah, so success is pretty good in living donor. So the average survival rate, people who are receiving a living donor kidney from their relatives is 20 plus years.
Oh, wow.
So their kidney can last more than 20 plus years.
Right, okay.
And the disease, cadaveric kidney success rate, I don't have a data for Pakistan, but in USA, it's pretty good. Its average is 10 plus years.
That's amazing. That's fantastic. And over, like, what's the affordability of these procedures? Because, I mean, we're talking about the end stages.
Yes.
What cost are people looking at?
Yeah, so to get the living kidney is less expensive than the deceased kidney.
Okay. Why?
Because living kidney is donated by your relative, so obviously you're not paying him to give the kidney. But the main cost is the surgical procedure cost, and later on the chronic cost is the medications you use to keep the transplant kidney healthy in your body.
Okay, so basically what we want to sum up from this is that it's better to go and get yourself tested and know what the state of your kidney before you reach the failure stage, because that's much more expensive to maintain, or what's more cost effective as well, because people that doesn't have an impact.
So dialysis, which is one of the treatment for chronic kidney failure, is very expensive. The average cost of one dialysis treatment is around 5,000 rupees in Pakistan.
Okay, and how regularly do people need to have it?
They at least have to have 3 days a week, which is the standard of care. But
so you're looking at least like 15,000 rupees a week.
But that's unfortunately in Pakistan, due to affordability, people go only once a week, sometimes twice a week, or sometimes once a month.
Okay.
And that build up the toxin level in the body, and that further damages the vital organs in the body, like heart, bones, and a lot of vital organs.
Okay. Okay, I had one more question, but it's absolutely slipped my mind. You're not talking enough for me to remember it. Okay, so now, and that's it. How many donors are there, or how, this is such a bad word, I'm really scared to use it, but the resource, I mean, for like people getting the transplant, I mean, is there a long waiting list, or are there plenty of kidneys out there for
yes,
people
so
to
in USA, there's a average wait time of 5 years.
5 years?
Yes.
Oh, wow.
But that depends on your blood group.
Okay.
Your blood type. Certain blood types can be get the kidney very fast, like AB blood type can get the kidney like in a few years. But the O blood group is very have a long waiting time.
Okay.
But the going back to the cost of treatment, as we mentioned, the dialysis treatment is very expensive. But now there is a dialysis we call home dialysis. People can do dialysis at home.
Right.
That
Okay.
is more cost effective and it's more outcomes.
Are we
positive.
there in Pakistan where we can do home
Yeah,
dialysis?
it is actually very old. It's called peritoneal dialysis, which
Okay.
people do from their stomach.
Okay. So
lot-
the old school with the big machine, correct?
No, it's a small machine they
Okay.
do every night
Okay.
before going to the bed, and it does not involve any blood.
Okay. And how much does that cost?
That is less expensive because the only thing you need is a fluid to put into your abdominal cavity, and that do natural dialysis.
Okay.
And
Wonderful.
but the other dialysis is called hemodialysis, which involves blood and has a lot of complications.
So you have to go to the hospital for that.
Yeah, for the outpatient center.
Okay, wonderful. Okay, great. Thank you so much for your time. It's been an absolute pleasure to have you on the show.
welcome.
Guys, I hope you took something away that prevention is better than cure. And once you get to kidney failure, then there is no going back. And it's a world of pain for yourself and for your loved ones around you. So do look after yourself. Make sure you go and get your blood tested. Go to your doctor and say, just do a full body, because we keep telling you every 6 months to a year, you should go and get tested for any illnesses that you may have. And with that, we're going to go for a short break. But when you come back, we're going to now talk about how to get our brains healthy and our minds healthy. Stay tuned.
The ancient city of Taxila is the heart of stonework in Pakistan. This art, which has been preserved and practiced for centuries, can be seen on many major landmarks of the country. Notably, the Pietra Dura work in the Lahore Fort's Sheesh Mahal. These stone products take days to complete and require immense precision and skill from the craftsmen. The final products are perfect for souvenirs, gifts and decoration pieces, each depicting the richness of Pakistani culture at its best. Camel skin and ivory craft are trademarks of Multan's handicraft repertoire. Camel skin is cleaned, dried and mounted onto molds which can be of any shape desired. Multicolored lacquer painting is then used to ornament the molds, which in the end bear a Mughal or Persian feel. Ivory is crafted into pens, chess sets, jewelry and other accessories such as keychains by the expert craftsmen. Such detailed work, while being extravagant, is indeed a feat to achieve, and craftsmen of Multan produce beauty with their work which is worthy of global admiration. The enchanting arts and crafts of Pakistan.
Welcome back, everyone. And before the break, we were sharing some information about the state of kidney disease and failure within Pakistan. And approximately 100 out of a million people have some form of kidney disease. So it is imperative that you go and get your regular testing at the hospitals and get your regular body test. Checkup, that's what I'm looking for. Okay, so now we're talking about the physical aspect and how to keep yourself healthy, but having a healthy body is not the only thing you need. You also have to have a healthy mind. And one thing that we have tried to keep, that we try to also do ourselves, because we're all human beings, and you know, I can be not negative, but I can be realistic at times, and I feel that's realism. But for a lot of people, that could be negativity. But it's about how we approach things, how we view things, how we see the world. You know, since I've moved to Pakistan, I've noticed there's certain characteristics of mine that have come more, you know, they've come forward a lot more than others. And some parts are a bit more negative, or maybe they're a bit more aggressive. But that's maybe my way of handling the situation. But we're going to be discussing something now. It's called liminal thinking. It's the art of creating change by understanding, shaping, and reframing beliefs. Now, what are our beliefs? How do we reshape them? How do we believe that we deserve more? Because this is one thing I was discussing with one of my friends a few weeks ago, that they were saying, why are you always getting upset and angry or feeling negative about this? And I was like, because after a certain point, we need to hold ourselves and to a certain standard. There's a certain standard of life that we deserve as human beings if we're good people and if we're trying to care for our nation and our communities. So it's just wrong to become passive and just let things slide. But then you have to pick your battles. And so this is what we're going to be discussing today. We've been joined by Mr. Asif Nazir. He is a business leader and a motivational speaker. He's going to be talking to us about what liminal thinking is. Assalamu alaikum. Good morning.
Wa alaikum salam and good morning.
Thank you so much for joining us. This is a very important topic, and
Yes.
the more psychological based topics, I love them. They're my favorites. So first of all, I've just given a very brief, you know, internet definition of liminal thinking, but can you just expand a bit more that what do we mean by creating change by understanding, shaping, and reframing beliefs?
Liminal thinking, more precisely, it's a different way of viewing different things.
Okay.
Different way of viewing the individuals, the groups, society, organizations, nations, and on a bigger level to the humanity as well. So what is the outcome? Outcome is to create a more peaceful, more productive, more profitable, and more success.
Okay.
So all this is. Now this word liminal, it's basically a Latin word which means threshold. So threshold is what? Threshold are boundaries that marks the transition from one point to another point. For example, both we are sitting, me and you, I have my boundaries and you have your boundaries. If we sit together, we would be like us or we. So we would have the different boundaries. Now, another important thing, that like freezing water. So it's a transition between a liquid and a solid. When it's going to change its state, a result would be the different.
Okay.
So similarly, one thing more, that when we are in the different state, for example, when we are sitting, we need different actions and result would be different.
Okay.
And when we are standing, results and actions would be entirely different.
Okay, but that's the thing. So within certain countries, and well, actually within Pakistan as well, because we're not too great on, you know, we're not too big on psychology and therapy in the sense that we, you know, mental illnesses or understanding human behavior and stuff like that, we brush it aside. That suck it up, it's fine, you know, pull yourself together, it's okay, stop being negative, all these things. But now, the physical aspect, we're much more, yes, this is it, we can see it, we believe it with our own eyes because we can, you know, I pick this paper up, I'm picking it up. But this is more to do with the psychological, and it's a behavioral thing as well, correct? So how do we start in a nation where we push our own boundaries and our own desires and our own needs and wants back? How do we teach people that, no, it's the way we think, it's the way we approach life? Because I was talking to people, and I saw my khala as well, and she was talking about how the anxiety just becomes part of you, you know, like this kind of way of thinking and way of looking at things just becomes part of you. So how are we going to start understanding and reframing these beliefs?
Okay. The two things. First, you said that as the first, the point was what you see, you can do it, you can believe it. But now it's the different, one step ahead.
It's internal.
What you can imagine,
Okay.
what you can believe, you can do.
Right.
So mental toughness and mind development is much advanced than your body. So what simply it is said that whether you think you can or you think you cannot, you're right in both cases. Because once you think you can do something, then your body is willing to do that. But once you say that, no, I cannot do this thing, then you can never do that thing because your body is going to obey that. Now, the second point which you mentioned about the beliefs, how we develop. Now, let's briefly that what are the beliefs? These are basically the opinions we have towards the outer world regarding different things, regarding money, politics, religion, different societal matters, relationship. So what we are thinking about all these things. So these are the beliefs, and these are the things we don't want to validate because we think these beliefs are the obvious.
But aren't our beliefs being encouraged and re-emphasized by the media, by the society we live in? So we're not making our own beliefs. Our beliefs are being created by our external environment.
Yes, it happens. It happens, and it happens in every society. It means a newly born child in any society, in a Muslim society or in a Hindu society, what happens with the passage of time when he gets interaction with the parents, the teacher, the society members, the friends, he would be learning all those things, and he would expose to the reality. Let me share with you a very interesting story. A king, he called few blind men in his palace, and he asked them to touch an object.
Okay.
The first one said that it's like a wall. The second one said, no, it's like a fan, hand fan. The third one said that it's like a rope. And the one said that it's like a snake or it's like a pipe. So what happened? They were asked, blind men asked to touch an elephant. So elephant was the reality. And all they were right at their points. They were exposed to the small part of that reality.
Okay.
So what happens is this world is a big reality. At one point of time, we are exposed to 11 million bits of information around us. But we can acquire what? Just 4 bits of information. Because mind is very focused and it can focus to one thing at a time. Now what is important? That whatever we are telling to our kids and new generations, whether it's a good or it's a bad. But the lamentable fact is that if we just look at our society, what's going on, the dharna and the protest and the political rivalry and the religious complexities, there are so many negative things going on. So the beliefs we are developing in our...
even if you step away from that, it's not even that. You take it to more basic individuals, like friends, or like you have this weird kind of, there's always some form of wall that's up between people over here, which is what I've noticed.
So what happens is there are two things. One is whatever something we do consciously, few things we do, but most of the time we are doing, and rather more than 90% of the activities we perform on daily basis are driven by our subconscious.
Right.
We are doing it, but we don't know exactly what we are doing. And the point you mentioned that in routine, in groups, we are talking about the negative things. And now we are on the stage where we are unaware of this fact, that we are negative, we are getting negative, our behaviors, our actions are getting negative.
Okay, so now the thing is, in order to, because the end aim is to create peace and a better environment and, play our role towards humanity, right?
Okay.
And make the world a peaceful place. But then how are we going to do that when, like you said, with this example about the blind man touching the elephant, how do we get, because at the end of the day, we're all blind. It's not just, we're not sitting here criticizing Pakistan. We're living in Pakistan. It's about creating more positivity within our communities and in our environment. Even if you're living abroad, it's about connecting with someone on a very honest level. So how do we stop touching that one part of the elephant and look at the whole elephant fully?
As I
Is
mentioned,
it possible?
No, it's not possible.
It's not possible.
It's not possible to see the reality the total reality. It's not possible for a person or for even a country to look at the whole reality in this world.
Why?
Because as we mentioned in case of that elephant,
Yeah.
that means the blind man can touch one thing at a time.
But, no,
And
but the thing is that, but then that's just saying that we are all blind, but we're not all. If we are seeking understanding and we're trying to get rid of our ignorance, then surely we're not blind.
Yes, we are not blind, but the point is that, as I mentioned, that if 11 million bits of information available at that time, so do I have the capacity to grab all that information? We can't do that.
So then how do we pick the relevant information? Because the thing is, that's what we talk about on our show. It's about pushing our capacity to see everything and take in more.
Actually, what happens is when we get to the reality, we experience so many things.
Right.
And we are driven by our needs.
Okay.
Okay. If let me give you an example.
yeah.
If I am hungry or if you are hungry, so this is our basic need. So what happens? Now, if we have the money, we go out and based on our previous experiences, we say that, okay, let's go to this ABC point and to have that meal. And if you don't have money, so you would have different options. So we are driven by our needs.
No, but isn't the whole point of liminal thinking to start, so basically so get in touch with your ignorance. So these are my needs, but then surely the whole point is that because we're seeking understanding, we'll understand what someone else's needs are. So then at the end, that's what makes us different from animals, is that we are able not to just go on our needs. We're able to practice our empathy and humanity and mercy and stuff like that. And if we see someone else that's getting hungry, then surely we'll help them.
Yes, and for that matter, this is what the topic we are talking about is liminal thinking.
Yeah.
It is deep understanding of your beliefs.
Right, okay.
One thing. And secondly, if you can understand yourself, then you would realize about others. Now you see that all the religious scholars and the philosophers, what they really emphasize on, that look into your inner side.
Okay.
Enlighten yourself first. Understand you, know yourself first. And once we can understand ourselves first, then it would become easy for us to understand and the beliefs of the other people. But we are totally ignorant.
Okay.
We don't know what's going on. Means this is advanced stage that we would empathize that what other are doing and why they are doing that. We are unaware of our behaviors.
Okay,
That
so
why we do that.
Okay, so now in the 21st century, in an era of information technology where we have phones, we have constant interaction, we're constantly meeting people from all walks of life. So I don't actually understand how we are still so ignorant to things. Like, this is across the world. Look at what's happening in Europe, what's happening in America and all these things. Everyone's become we've got our blinkers on now. So how do we remove those blinkers? How do we get rid of this ignorance? And because, like you said, we've discussed how our belief system is constructed and what influences us. So how do we change that now?
Yes.
I just think that it's just really sad if we can't change that.
Yes, it is, and that's what there is so much of the negativity is going on it's not only in Pakistan we are talking about. In the world, you see that the people and the human beings, we being the superior creature, what we are doing, that we are creating the weapons of mass destruction for the human beings. So you just imagine what we are doing, in fact. So it's everywhere. Now the first point, to start with this, we have to have the awareness.
Okay.
We need to have more awareness of the fact that what are our beliefs, why we do what we do.
Okay,
we
now-
have to go, because there is a pyramid of these beliefs.
Okay.
Experiences, assumptions, judgments, and then there are beliefs. So we have to go back to see all these beliefs, that how these beliefs are developed and how we can reshape them.
Okay, now do you think in any society, in any part of the world right now, anyone's doing that?
Yes, the people, they are doing it.
They are? Okay.
Yes, the people, you just look at the civilized societies. Without doing that, the simple parameter is what? Those societies who are developed, those people who are successful, definitely they are applying these principles. Without applying these principles, without having liminal thinking, you cannot succeed. You can do it for once or twice, but you cannot make it consecutively over the years. So those societies, they really understood the importance
Do
of
you
this
think
thing.
so? Because the thing is, the way, okay, I'm going to disagree. Like, let's have this
Okay,
discussion
yes,
about
you have
it.
every right.
Okay, yeah. So, no, this is the beauty of this show. It's a two-way show.
This is what the liminal thinking is all about.
Exactly. So now, because that's the thing, there's something else in liminal thinking, the lie of belief, right?
Yes.
The lie of belief. Now, we can say that we're doing these things and we're aware of these things, but actually when you look at the breakdown of what's happening on the streets, on the roads, how people are thinking, how minorities are feeling, how the more vulnerable people of society are feeling, it's not positive. Like majority of the time, the way that you see in any country, even like, what's happening politically in UK, what's happening politically in America, what's happening politically here, where is the positivity?
Yes, you can't find an ideal situation.
No one's asking for ideal.
You can't find a bouquet situation
Yeah.
as per the definition that none of the society can be. But it's a matter of that those societies, those who are developed, they are comparatively better and applying these principles more than those societies. You see the tolerance level. I mean, simply the simple gauge is if you go out, and whenever we go internationally, we see that there are, the miles of queues, but no one is actually in hurry.
Yeah.
There is tolerance in society. But what happens in our case, everybody is intolerant.
But why? Why are we like this here?
Because our beliefs are constructed over the years, one generation, two generation, like this.
Okay.
We never set the standards. We never follow the standards right from top to the bottom. We never set the standards and never follow the standards. If a person who's having the bigger car, he's the one who's not going to follow the law.
Yeah.
So if he's not going to, then the people would follow him.
Yeah, I know, and that's the thing. I've seen a lot of these, international drivers as well, speeding and like going crazy on the roads too. So, how do we get rid of this? How do we get rid of this mentality that the more money you have or the bigger car you have, that, how do we get rid of this awkward and very weird awe and, fascination with someone who has money or power or big cars and things like that? Because this is also socially constructed.
Yes, it is socially.
And it's pushing us into ignorance,
yes,
right?
it is. It is pushing us, and it's quite unfortunate that all our leaders, in different forms, whether in sports, you talk about the religion, you talk about the politics, everywhere,
Across the world.
across the world, even President of the United States, billionaire. So, what message we are giving to the masses, to the common people? Definitely, they are going to emulate you. They are going to copy you.
Yeah.
And that's how there would be more negativity in this world. Yes, unless and until we are not going to apply the principles, basic principles, things would be, getting more and more negative. So, the first thing, having more awareness of these things, and how we can have this more awareness on the media, the talk shows, the parents and the teachers. They're more concerned about their kids.
Okay.
So they should actually tell
Okay.
their kids what is right and what is wrong, and for that matter, they have to set the example first,
For themselves. Okay.
and then their kid would copy them. Yes.
Wonderful. And we've actually run out of time completely. Thank you so much for being here today. It's been an absolute pleasure just to start discussion on liminal thinking, because I think in more or less different ways we've spoken about it, but not under this actual title. And it's absolutely fascinating. So if you guys want any information on how to get in touch with your ignorance, seek understanding, and do something about it, then log on to our Facebook fan page, which is with the name of World This Morning, our Twitter page, World This Morning without a G, our Daily Motion page, World This Morning, and the repeat is at 11 p.m. in the evening, 11:05 p.m. this evening, and you can stream it online as well. Have a wonderful day, be good, be safe, and I will see you tomorrow morning.